Hello everybody, this is WarriorDan, and today we're going to be spending roughly the next 5 minutes of our lives talking about a game you've probably not even heard of. Welcome to Ballistic Tanks. For those of you who have not yet seen one of my What is the Point of videos before, I basically take a look at a recently released game and break it down for all of you, highlighting what I like about it and what I don't like about it. At the end of my review, I give the game a final score, scaling from 1 to 10, followed by an explanation of why the game deserves that score. So, that said, let's get into the game and see what the point of Ballistic Tanks is. As a kid, have you ever had one of those moments where you wish you were a soldier, taking control of your own tank and dominating the battlefield? For those of you, I am happy to show you Ballistic Tanks. Ballistic Tanks is designed as a multiplayer split-screen party experience, where you can play either single player with bots, or play with your friends in split-screen in a local multiplayer mode, which supports up to 4 players. Ballistic Tanks currently offers 5 playable game modes. Deathmatch, your typical classic free-for-all, with the winner being the last man standing. Deathmatch is your everyday vanilla entry-level game mode. Juggernaut. Juggernaut more or less puts a spin on the tried and true King of the Hill game mode, which again, if you've played a lot of first-person shooters in the past, you're probably pretty familiar with this game mode. Your goal is to maintain control of a control point in the middle of the map. Once you have held the control point for a set amount of time, your tank is then turned into, well, a super tank, with a greatly boosted health meter and a slew of powerful insta-kill attacks. Your goal then becomes eliminating all of the other players. The last man standing wins. Power Sift. Power Sift is the perfect game mode if you're playing with friends and just want to goof off and be silly. Power Sift is a variant of Deathmatch, except here in Power Sift, every round, a random gameplay modifier is introduced into the game. Anything can happen here, so be sure to keep your guard up. And finally for now, Survival. In Survival, you can either play co-op or solo mode, fighting off countless enemies in a never-ending attempt to see how long you can survive. If you're anything like me, odds are you won't last very long. It's a decent enough mode. However, if you're playing this solo without a partner, it's not really that much fun after the initial excitement wears off. All of these game modes are pretty fun to play, with my favorite by far being Power Sift. There's just something incredibly fun about jumping into a round with entirely randomized gameplay modifiers, and it fits the quirky visual style seen in the game. Everything on screen is bright and flashy, so for those of you who are sensitive to light, especially flashing colored lights, I would not recommend playing this game. It's visually pretty intense. I'm not saying this game is bad because of its visual style, but I'm just pointing out something that could be an issue for some people. Now, if you're looking for a traditional single-player campaign mode, you're not going to find it here. This game was designed from the ground up to be a couch multiplayer party game, a game that you can play with your friends via Xbox controllers connected to your PC. The music featured in this game perfectly matches the classic retro style it's trying to represent, so old school gamers like me will probably enjoy the similarities. The AI can be a little bit wonky sometimes, in some cases feeling far too easy to beat, and other times presenting a pretty good challenge. Now personally with games like this, I'm always in favor of consumer choice, allowing the player to have more customization options where possible, when it fits the game. So I love the fact that Ballistic Tanks makes it possible so players can, in most cases, manually adjust the difficulty of the AI bots. And honestly, I love all the customization options that Ballistic Tanks does offer to players. However, I do think that the AI, despite you having the ability to set different difficulty levels, I do think that setting these different levels doesn't always seem to work. When players manually change the difference between the difficulties, you don't always see the proper effects. Additionally, it would have been cool to see an online multiplayer component be added into the game, allowing players like myself to team up with or face off against other online players in these 4-player arena brawls. I did try to invite some of my Steam friends to join me in the game, but I found that I was unable to, which was frustrating because honestly the idea of running around amok in tanks would have been hilarious, and I would have loved to see some of my friends like Dr. Oktoberfest try to survive as I slaughter them with tanks. I'm sure he's not going to be happy in the comments, but you know what? Sorry, Ak. Now, the developer and publisher KL Studios has put out a number of game updates post-launch on an almost daily basis, fixing common issues like bugs and making small improvements where needed. Now I'm just going to be completely upfront about this. I really did think this game was going to suck. I get a lot of free Steam keys via keymailer.com for games to feature in my What is the Point of series. And honestly, this is one game I almost decided against covering, but I am glad I took the time to cover it. Because in a way, we don't see these kinds of games too much these days on the market. Games like this, casual local co-op games, as opposed to online games, have kind of died out over the last few years, and have become a very small and mostly ignored minority among co-op games, as online co-op has dominated the industry, and that's the same. I think the idea of playing with a friend in split-screen co-op is great, and should be an idea not only used on consoles but PC as well. Consoles are known for their co-op options. A lot of people play split-screen on consoles like PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, you get the idea. Whereas PC has had a reputation for single-player games. However, I do think as the PC gaming market has slowly become much more diverse over the years, we are starting to see more console-like experiences made available to us, and that includes couch co-op games, like Ballistic Tanks. My final score for Ballistic Tanks is a 6 out of 10. It has a ton of fun game modes, and I do love the retro-inspired visuals. I think those two are definitely its main two selling points. And for the price of $4.99 USD, it's a pretty reasonable offering. However, I do think not allowing any online functionality, such as allowing players to play with their Steam friends online, definitely may turn away some people. But these are just my opinions. This is WarriorDan. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit that like button and give this video a like. Also, if you like this kind of content, you can hit that button on screen now and subscribe to my channel so you can stay notified of future uploads. Please do share your opinions down in the comments below. Tell me, what do you think of retro games? Do you like what Ballistic Tanks is offering, and do you like retro games in general? Or am I one of those lonely people off in the corner who likes retro games? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. Over the next month, to stick with the spooky spirit of Halloween, I do plan to put up a lot of Let's Plays and game reviews on a bunch of AAA and indie horror games. So if you have an idea for a horror game I could play, tell me now in the comments below. The only rule is, they have to have been released this year. It could not be a game released before January 1st, 2016. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.